Ready to go, Mary?
Should, yeah. Should be recorded. I don't see it recorded. Okay,
Network bandwidth is low. Yeah, we definitely got internet
Yeah.
connection issues.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to record, although I don't understand, oh, because it goes to the cloud, that's why.
Recorded computer and then there's no bandwidth issue.
Can you do that?
But I can't do that. Here it goes.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. I'm David Schrader. I'm, the vice chairman, and Doug Shimke's out of town, I think, for 2 months, so I'm on my business, so I'm, filling in for him, for the Board Authority Directors meeting, for September. I guess our first action item is to, and we do have a quorum, I think so. Is that confirmed? Okay, good. I will entertain a motion to approve the July minute or the August minutes.
Motion to approve. This is Chris.
Chris, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Dan, thank you. Any more discussion? If not, I'll call the question. All those in favor of approving the August meeting minutes, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay. Next item is the treasurer's report. In here. Dan, do you have a report for us there?
Right, I'm going to the second sheet. On the Port Authority. We've got $245.28 interest incomes from our CDs. As far as, that's all the income. As far as expenses, we got the legal review of the Port Authority charter and all that for $1,014.50. We got accounting charges of $125, Evergy Electric of $38.63, QuickBooks $35, and statement fee of $5. That adds up to the income you see there of $1,218.13. We didn't have any other any questions?
Any other questions for Dan? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve his financial report for August. Anybody?
Motion to approve is presented. This is Chris.
Do I have a second? By sleeping.
I'll second.
Vernon, oh, all right, thank you. Any other discussion? If not, I'll call the question. All those in favor of approving the treasurer's report, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, next item is, you want to give some background here, Lisa, on,
Yes,
the county funding?
so as you all know, at the August 28th BOCC meeting, the commissioners voted to approve the 2025 recommended budget, which only included $23,000 to be allocated to the Port Authority. However, during the conversations, and we're all Commissioner cause, and I would also like to say a sincere thank you for your supportive comments during those commission meetings. We did hear that, and we appreciate
My pleasure.
it. But would you say that is a correct kind of summary? Unknown caller. I think that was, we didn't hear you, Commissioner Cos, if you said anything.
Yeah, Lisa, everything's very scrambled on the
Thank you.
call.
What was I gonna say? So what I'd like to encourage to agree to submit to
the bandwidth.
Yes, because of the.
And try one more time. We will not go back to the conference room. We will just. Yeah,
Yeah.
we will go to my computer. So let's do that. All right, everybody. We will be calling Spectrum, and Joe Wilson, our IT person, has said he would come and be here for that, so they can work together. Okay. So. I'm gonna go to the meeting. Find it. I'm on Zoom. Join. Open. I'm gonna text, somebody got a text. Maybe come. Oh, no. I thought you ended it.
I did, I enjoyed it.
Well, Mary, I think you should end it. And we're gonna go on here. That's why they're coming back on. Because they're trying to get back in here.
On her personal.
Mute, thank you. Okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I see a head shaking, yes. I'm gonna turn the computer around to the room so you can see some of the other people. Go into the, yes, it is recording. And hopefully. Okay, so what I was stating, let me go back and say that if I understood correctly, at the August 27th BOCC meeting, the county commissioners agreed and voted to approve the recommended 2025 budget, which included just $23,500 to be allocated to the Port Authority. However, Mark had stated that there is about $62,000 left in the special projects that if the commissioners voted, it could be reallocated. They could direct Mark Lawfrey to reallocate that $62,000 to the Port Authority. So Commissioner Cos, did I have that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. Okay, so from here, what I would suggest for the Port Authority to do today is to agree and vote on, to agree to submit a request for that $62,000 to be reallocated to the Port Authority.
How do we do that? Do we just send them another ask from the beginning? Like you did in the beginning? Someone need to make a motion?
Lisa,
Yes, Commissioner.
actually, I believe that the final approved and adopted budget included those funds to be allocated to the Port Authority.
Well, that would be great. Then I would just request that from Mark Lawfrey then probably.
Right.
Correct?
I will clarify that as well, and I will call you tomorrow and let you know.
Thank you. Then
I guess it doesn't hurt for us to go ahead and make the motion. Yeah, but that's gonna be part of our ask from
just,
the county.
Or verify.
okay.
What would we prefer?
I'll just make a motion that we verify that the 62,000 allocated from the original budget be
Directed to us.
directed to us, and if it's already been done, with that verification, just thank them for their support.
And if not, we make a formal request to
get that
together.
Okay. So you're making that motion?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Did everybody hear Dan's motion there? We're just gonna basically ask.
I see a head shaking.
Yes, I heard it.
Okay,
Okay.
so can I have a second to his motion then?
I would second that.
Thank you, Chris. And then any more discussion or comments? If not, we'll call the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So that leads us to the next item, which is, you go ahead, Lisa.
Okay, so then the other thing is that that still means we'll have a deficit for 2025. So those of you that are board members, you all know that we requested a total of, oh boy, I didn't write that. Yes, I did.
62.
We actually requested, it was 500 and some thousand. I wrote it down somewhere. But the amount that and part of those were for special projects, the spec building program, the workforce project. But what we really needed, the operation expenses was a total of $162,967. So and the 23,500 covers the a few things, there will still be $77,567, even with the $62,000 that we're going to request as a deficit. So the request I am asking you all to decide today is whether or not you will use reserve funds in 2025 to make up for that $77,567.
That mean that we would need to cash in on the CDs, or is this refer funds on hand?
Well, if you all, we have a project coming in here soon that's looking to purchase 2 properties in the urban Hess, which would fund that, would more than fund that. So you could use that cash rather than cashing one of those.
So it'd be premature to look at the CD, wait till we find out from some of that.
Right.
But Lisa, this is Chris. The financials were not in the package you had sent out. What's our cash balance in the checking account? I know we have about $500,000 in certificates. We should have.
Commerce is 289.
Did you hear that, Chris? 289.
289,000 in the checking account.
Courses for 249, one at mutual for 249.
But what do we have in the operating checking account? Not the CDs.
289.
$289,118.30.
Okay, so we have plenty of money to fund the balance of the general operating expenses. I don't know that we need a motion to use that, because I mean, all of our money's reserve, if you want to call it that. We don't have a specific allocation to any reserve account for something that's out there yet that we've dedicated funds to. So I think we have unrestricted reserve. That's Chris's opinion. Doesn't mean it's right. It's my opinion. And so I don't know that we need to do anything other than when the request comes in from LCDC to fund our portion, what we're responsible for, we just approve that, and it's going to have to come out of our reserve accounts, which is everything we have is a reserve.
I think there wants some assurance that we're not going to not do this, Chris. Does that make sense?
Sure. No, I understand that.
So it's maybe ceremonial motion, but I think we just need to agree that we're going to keep the doors open and going to dip into reserves at this for the shortfall this year.
Okay.
So something of the nature of making a motion to direct the accountant to identify the reserve funds needed to make up the shortfall for 2025.
Well, I just make it so everybody knows that's the game plan moving forward. We're all on the same page.
Yeah.
Now, would this be for 2025?
Yes, 25.
Are we looking at a fixed amount also? You say 77,000 is about the deficit?
Correct.
Should we still on the safe side, just make it 80?
Well,
I think you're just.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Ask for more.
Yeah, it's going to come out.
And I'm gonna tell you why, because sometimes things pop up. Sometimes things pop up and we'd have to go back through this again.
Well, I think what you're looking for, David, is just a motion that we've agreed to fund LCDC's expenses for 2025.
And if that means cash in a CD or whatever it is, we can worry about that later, but I think we need to give some, guidance that we're moving forward and this isn't, we're not shutting the doors.
Yeah, I would make a motion that we approve the expenses to LCDC, normal expenses that we've incurred for the operating year 2025 as budgeted, absent an additional request from them or something. It would be the budgeted amount that they requested from us for the following year of 2025.
And
Now,
Chris, that,
when you say
that
budgeted, you're talking
cover-
about the operational expenses, not everything else that was in the.
Yeah.
yeah, so
And I can-
we're still looking at covering the deficit. Is that correct? Okay, I'm on board with that.
Yeah,
We may
and
have
that
some
operating expense includes LCDC.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is a total of $139,517.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Lisa, it's Pat Kitchens. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So I was a little confused on the numbers. So the Board of County Commissioners budgeted $23,500. And then Commissioner Cause is going to verify that the additional $62,000 was put in to the budget. And if that is in fact the case, can you please tell me what the deficit shortfall for 2025 was going to be again, please?
Yes, the deficit for 2025 is $77,567.
And then the number you just referenced a second ago, 139, that's the total operating expenses for 2025.
For LCDC, the 139,517 is for LCDC.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, there may be some come up that we gotta, I don't know, incent some business to come in, so we may have to use the money for something else that we have reserved, but this is just
Takes us back to zero.
going forward to get us, to keep us moving, so.
And we do have an motion on the floor, right?
So Chris made that motion, yes.
I'll second.
Dan, second, okay, thank you. Any more
Thank you.
discussion? If not, we'll call the vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we got the voting action items done. Lisa, you want to give your report now?
Yes, that would be great. Thank you. For projects and leads for September, it continues to be a little on the slow side. We're expecting that with this year being an election year. It's pretty typical, but I did have had 3 come in September so far. Project Sunflower is an existing business, asked about available lots in Tonganoxie for a possible expansion. And so I sent them some information about the Urban Hess Business Center, shared that there were 2 for sure and 2 that are being considered right now. So they'll let me know, though they plan to look it over and be back in touch. So we also had an inquiry about the Leavenworth Business and Technology Park. This was in response to an email blast that we sent out. Quarterly, we send out email blasts about some of our existing properties that are available, and we kind of rotate through some of the larger properties. And of course, this last couple of weeks ago, we sent out the one on the Leavenworth Business and Technology Park, and I was contacted by one of the KC developers, and they wanted to know some more information, specifically for considering of a data center, or then they also said that they were interested in working with some light manufacturing companies. So it was for multiple projects. They just kind of wanted to get some more information. So we had a discussion, virtual. And then Project McDonald, this is an existing business in the county seeking gap funding for an expansion program, and Diana is working with that company. Ongoing projects, the one I'd like to talk about, and I'm kind of done talking about the others and the projects and leads, so I can go right into, unless somebody has a question, I can go right into talking about project transport, which will have an action item. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. So project transport is a client looking at 2 properties in the Urban Hess Business Center. We talked about it at the last Port Authority meeting, and he had asked about purchasing 2 of the lots, and you all decided to offer him 50% discount so that he would purchase the 2 lots at $20,000 an acre instead of $40,000 an acre, with 2 requirements. One was to have a building permit pulled within 12 months of purchasing the lots, as well as construction of the building that he plans and has showed to you within 24 months. And we talked this last week, and he is on board. He's very excited about it. So what I'll need from you all today is to get an official vote, because you guys just kind of talked that through and provided that direction to me. And now we need to have you guys vote. Would you like to go officially do that? I will need to, at that point, engage our lawyer that we used last time to draw up a contract with those 2 requirements.
Lisa?
Yes.
And I don't know if this is a third requirement or if it's a subcategory of one. Is there any situation where this person could acquire the lots and then resell it and someone else does a building permit?
It's probably a good idea to include that.
To at least say
Something
that,
in there.
you know, a building built or a permit taken out by the same entity or an entity related to the purchaser. I'm sure an attorney can draft something else. I would just hate for someone to get a 50% discount on something and then just flip it to someone else.
Would it be more of like a first right of refusal? If they decide to sell it, we have the right to purchase it.
At the sale price.
Okay.
Yes. That's
And we have placed that in previous contracts, and Tim Gerard, who's handled our contracts, can prepare that as well for us.
Okay.
I think shouldn't the motion be to approve the contract, to approve the chairman to sign the contract once we get the contract?
Well, we need to give advice to the lawyer as to what to draw up though, too.
Right.
Right.
Well, if you do everything all at once, she doesn't have to come back to us to authorize signing of the contract.
Okay.
So, in my mind, Chris, tell me if I'm off, the motion would be to approve the sale as discussed with the 3 conditions as discussed, and upon advice of the lawyer, approve signing of the contract.
I think before we didn't know where his temperature was on the price, and I think if you've agreed to that, I think we're good and we can move forward.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems to me that Dan's comment, I think that was Dan, it sounded like him. That's, you know, an appropriate motion that encapsulates all the things, the requirements, so we don't lose the property, you know, and it gets done the way we've agreed to get it done, or they get it done the way we've agreed to sell it.
All right, let me make a formal motion, so Mary gets it down. I make a motion that we offer the sale as previously discussed within the Port Authority of $20,000 an acre with the 3 conditions, the 2 previously stated, and the 1 added today. And upon review and advice of the lawyer, permit signing of the contract.
That's your motion?
That's my motion.
Okay. Do I have a second to that?
I would second that.
Thank you, Chris. Any more discussion, comments? If not, we'll call the vote. All those in favor of the motion that Dan Cummins just presented, say aye.
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 Anybody Anybody opposed? Okay, motion passes, so
One,
progress.
David, one comment I'd like to make, if I may.
Sure.
Last meeting, we had the Wichita State, analysis on this project presented, and if, I think, Lisa, you still have that available to distribute. I think it's distributed. But if
Yeah.
anybody online would like to look at it, I encourage them to look at it, because even at the discounted price, everybody still does much better in the county, the city, with the future taxes over the period presented there in the Wichita State project. So I'd sure encourage you all to get a copy of it and read it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Lisa, did you have anything else?
I do just have a few more things. Let's see. So, in response to, the funding issue, it's going to be really important for our future funding committee to kind of discuss how we move forward on that. So also, and I think, it's a good starting point. But what I was going to say about that is that I think it's going to be really important for the Port Authority and LCDC to make a concerted effort to educate and to communicate with those incoming commissioners and just make sure they understand what we're trying to do and the impact that we've had over the years. And we plan to do that. We've already actually done some of that. We had a meeting with Vanessa Reed yesterday. Jeremy and I and Diana sat down with her and the superintendent of USD 453, Dr. Kellen Adams, and we had, I think, a productive conversation with her. And so I think we're just going to need to have more and more of those over the next year. So any other comments that anybody would like to make about that?
Well, this is Vicky.
Go ahead, Vicky.
Yeah, I just was texting with Mark Lothry, and yes, he would like for the Port Authority to make a request, but the amount that was set aside was $85,658. So if I guess if
Can you say that one more time?
85,658.
85,658 was approved for the budget in our budget. Or for, but what they need is for you the Port Authority to go ahead and make that, the request for that amount.
Does that $85,658 include the $23,500?
Now, no, the amount that they had, that was just the total amount. I think they had the 65. I think that's just the total amount. I think they had found the minus 25,000. They had added, that's what's added to that. The original amount that the county had said was in the budget, the 25,000, whatever that was. This is
23,500.
Yeah, this is the total that they came up with, the board, to allocate for the Port Authority. But we need to have you so that we can secure it within the budget. I'm just that it's assigned. So all you need to do is just send a budget request for the total amount of $85,558 that you would like to have for
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we've already made motion on that, so.
I will get that. So back to, our response and what we plan to do over the next year. And I said that we are going to make a concerted effort to reach out to those incoming commissioners. Anything else that you think we should be working on now or comments?
Well, we talked about that study session. I know it's probably too late and it has to be after the election, but we need to get that on the calendar as soon as we can.
Right.
For
The future funding.
Yeah.
So you think we should have that? Because he talked about maybe September, October. So just see if we can get on there as soon as possible.
Well, I don't think it hurts to get in front of them and say, hey, here's what here's our issues, here's our problems.
Okay.
Even if they're new.
With the county and LCDA board.
Because Mark said, didn't you talk to him when you first asked that request before the funding issue started?
Yes.
So they kind of agreed to that and then they kind of put it off. So,
Oh, agreed to the meeting?
Yeah.
Yes, they said after they got the budget
yeah,
finalized. Yes.
but maybe now it just needs to be asked after everybody gets sworn in.
Yeah, probably.
And started. So, I mean, I don't think it would hurt to get us all on the same page. What do you?
Which will not happen till after November, correct? So,
Probably best. February, yeah, probably into January, February.
okay,
But you could ask Mark, say, hey, we just want to get something on the calendar, study session.
okay.
And it, whatever it gives us, a couple hours.
And I would add another one to that is, people at state and federal and representatives and senators, incoming. And invite the ones that weren't up for election, but are incumbent. Regional transportation update, putting our visiting committee in line with this. And I ask for their support as we go along.
Yeah.
Because they'll be doing budget and money, and as like taking the K5 corridor, 35 million. I don't know if that's going to get them all the right of ways in the plans, much less the actual building.
Yeah, besides the commissioners, there'll be others that we need to talk to them as well.
Okay. Okay. I'll do that. Thank you. Other than that, just the last month marketing events, I've attended a Metro Wire Media event, a KCADC. Diana and I went to a networking at the K. Those are all events. I went to a crew event. Those are all events where developers are attending, and we work on developing relationships with those people. I talked to you about the email blast that we sent, and that had a response, which was always nice. And then upcoming, on Thursday night is a big deal in the development world called SIOR. I forget what that means, Development Day. It's a free event to go at the Union Station. A bunch of developers all set up their tables and booths down there, and you just basically almost like speed dating with developers is what it is. So we'll be attending that. And then in November, we will be part of what's called a FAM tour, a familiarization tour. This was in response to my desire to really get that Leavenworth Business and Technology Park out there and marketed. I talked to our partners at the Department of Commerce and said at Team Kansas, and I told them that, I knew they were doing a FAM tour and could we be a part of that? And I was told, yes, you can. And they said, what we're trying to show to these, well, let me explain. This Department of Commerce is going to be bringing in 5 to 10 national site selectors from all of the United States and kind of highlight the two things they want to highlight are number one, successful projects near the KC Metro. And then also the second thing is opportunities like business parks. And I said, well, we sure have both of those. So I hope that they are going to come back anyway, we do have a part in that. We'll be one of 12 communities, and we'll have probably about 20 minutes to talk about our successes in our project or our park. But it's an opportunity. So I'm excited about that. And that'll happen in November. LCDC related items. We had golf tournament, which we think was super successful. It was a gorgeous day. We appreciate all of you that came out and participated and were sponsors. I think we're going to have another record-breaking year on our revenues. So we're excited about that. We'll report that as those numbers come in. And then we're going to have a new person in our office. We are going to sublease this extra office here, and with a gentleman who's going to be working for the Kansas Department of Commerce. But he's the funding that is funding his job is coming from a federal grant. He'll be working with employers who hire second chance people. So kind of works well, kind of a complementary situation. And he's been here 3 times in the last week and a half just to come and say hello. And first he brought a couple of coworkers, and then he brought his wife, and then today he brought another coworker. So he's really excited about it, and we're looking forward to it. So we'll be getting that lease together here soon, and he'll be moving in the next couple of weeks, I think. So we're excited about that. And then finally, Diana and I have the KEDA conference on Monday and Tuesday, the 23rd and 24th. We're excited. It's always a chance for us to get to see our colleagues and talk about best practices and hear what's going on. And so I think with that, that's my report.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Lots of good stuff there. Regional Transportation Fund, Greg, are you still there?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Just the updates on the regional transportation around the area. I don't want to go through everything, but I want to hit a couple points. First, Baser is starting to work with David Jacobson with KTA on looking at a possible interchange on the 158, 166th Street, somewhere in the Baser area. There'll be more coming on that, in the months to come, but the first step would be a feasibility study that would show whether the project was feasible to do or not. So I think that's very positive. If we can get that interchange in Leavenworth County, that'd be a big deal. The other thing I want to mention, Leavenworth County has got a lot of bridge projects going on right now, and a lot of the county roads are closed. So I tried to kind of go through and give a summary of what's closed and what's going to be closed coming up within the next year. It was kind of interesting that a couple of the residents came in and was very upset because the detour traffic was going down a gravel road in front of their house. And they said, well, can't the county do something? And one of the commissioner's response was, well, we've cut the budget so much, we have no money to do that. You guys don't want to pay any more taxes, but yet you want more services, and we had to cut something. And that was one of the things that got cut. So I thought that was kind of a little ironic to kick back on that. But I don't know if Leslie's on, if she wants to say anything on the KTA interchange, but if not, that's all I've got right now.
Greg, this is Chris. On your comment about Baser, do we need to authorize the chair to provide a letter of support should they need us to?
I think that might be in the future. I don't think we need to do anything right now.
Okay.
I think it's going to go probably to Baser City Council for a little bit of discussion towards the end of October. So it's not moving real fast, but it is moving.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Greg. Next item on the agenda is the Industrial Site Committee. Was there any meeting or anything been done since our last meeting?
No, we should be getting together this week or next week to kind of go over some of those. We're just still waiting on some information.
And then future funding, we probably really nothing there either. Greg's been out of pocket with us for a while. And
I do have an update.
Oh, go ahead then, Chris. Thank you.
Just a brief update. I met with our attorney, and we will have a letter opinion. We spent quite a bit of time. Once you start pulling statute, then you are directed to another statute, which directs you to another statute. And we're running all of them to ground. And we should have for our October meeting an opinion letter that spells out, and I think we're in good shape, but what we can do, how we need to do it, when we need to do it, to look for options for taxing. There's quite a pile of paperwork, and I'm attempting not to, I cut any meeting short just because I don't want to spend the money. But I want to make sure we don't lose, we don't leave something unturned, so we get ourselves or the commission or our city partners in an embarrassing situation. So we'll look for next month for opinion letter, and we will be prepared to start moving forward with that. That's all
Great.
I have.
That's good, a great update. Okay, is there anything else we need to discuss before we go around the table or the computer for the affiliated partners? Anybody have anything else to add? Okay. These are just how I wrote them down as you appeared. So we'll start with George with Tonganoxie. Got an update for us, George?
Yes, so the city approved its budget for next year on a flat mill levy. That was building off the 4 mill reduction the city did last year, so we were happy to give at least hold the line there. Development updates, Roush Coleman, of course, that's the 142 new homes being built. I gave an update at the LCDC meeting last week. They pulled 1 building permit, and as of today, they pulled 8 more. So we're excited to see that project moving forward. Lisa mentioned Project Transport at Urban Hess. We're happy to move forward with that. We did a pre-development meeting with that business owner back in July, and we expect that project to move forward. The business park, we're happy to report that Unilock has submitted preliminary plans for a 56,000 square foot manufacturing facility. So it's nice to see that project come full circle. It's 2 phases. They built the first phase, which was a sales office and a sales yard. So happy again to see our first tenant come full circle. Project SOAR is a project we've been tracking. The company told us they won't have capital allocated to move forward with their plans until 2026. So we're kind of going through the logistics of that. Some of you or most of you may be aware the Tailgate Ranch, which is a little over 2,100 acres. It's adjacent to the business park, goes along County Road 1, actually crosses the I-70 exchange. That property is being marketed and listed for sale. Had some discussions with family representatives there, so excited for that opportunity as well. Really, the last big thing is the city is starting a 4th Street Bridge replacement project. So if you drive through Tonganoxie, starting next week, that will be closed. It's about a $1.2 million project. City's kind of this is the second of the 2 bridges that the city needed to replace. So we're happy to see those capital projects going. And I think that's oh, and then polished and decorative concrete is a 20,000 square foot facility that's being built on 2440, and they're progressing nicely. Building inspector thinks they're about 70% done. DSM also in the business park, they're about 75% done with their plan. So excited to always report lots of development activity in little old Tonganoxie. Thank you.
All right, thank you, George. Josh, you have an update for Lansing? Just that? Okay.
Well, I'll take it.
Okay, go ahead.
City of Lansing did approve their budget for 2025 as well. It looks like a huge increase from last year because we're absorbing the fire station. So the 9 mills that used to go to the fire station is now in the city of Lansing's budget. We did increase a little bit, about roughly $50 per house, because we've been flat for 3 years. So we were operating off, I think it's 21 budget, the dollar level. And we've eaten into our reserves to the point that it's starting to affect our audit and results and stuff like that, what reserves they recommend. So we had to increase a little bit just because of inflation. We hadn't had any inflation increases since. So with that, are continuing just down the road from East Mary. We've got a 50-unit apartment complex going up. The wastewater going to McIntyre is almost complete, or hasn't been reported totally complete, but it's real close to being completed. And those are the ones off the top of my head that I know of.
Pat, the city of Leavenworth.
Good afternoon. So three things. The city of Leavenworth also passed their budget with a flat mill levy, which was helpful. The 4th Street project is on schedule. I visit with Sam Maxwell from Lexico quite frequently. The obvious big question is whether we're going to be able to get done sufficiently to have the Veterans Day Parade on November the 11th. Right now, I'm optimistic about that, but we won't know that for another week or two or so. And then I think the final piece of news is we're making considerable progress on the selection of a new city manager. And I would anticipate some news about that in the coming weeks. That's it for Leavenworth.
Thank you. Vernon, city of Mesa, you have anything to report to us?
So as with the other cities, we also finalized our budget. We're still building. If you have not had a chance to drive down 155th Street, I would encourage you to do so. I know that during the presentation that I had to make to get the funding, that parallel at 155th Street to go from east to west would took about 300 seconds. Now we're down to 3 seconds. So that's a tremendous thing for the city. Other than that, Bays are still growing.
Great. Report from the county.
I have nothing to add. Thanks.
Did I forget anybody that I can't see on the? Leslie's not there or? Okay. Do we have anything else to discuss? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, you need a second there?
Second.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great rest of your day. It's October 15th.